So the news is finally out that Apple and OpenAI have come together and joined forces to put the ChatGPT AI into the iPhone. Big news, I guess. I think everyone was expecting this because it's been something that's been talked about for a long time, but it is officially announced that Apple is partnering up with OpenAI. So these guys apparently it's some sort of program with Siri. This article doesn't really go into it too much, but like this says, partnership means Apple digital assistant Siri will be given generative AI capabilities of the OpenAI system, and that feature will be available at no cost to iPhone users as part of the iOS 18 update later this year. Development will allow Apple to increase its competition in the generative AI space. So Apple does need this super bad. They just haven't had anything with AI, which is kind of crazy because they are a giant company. They should be able to do something with AI, right? And there is one person who is not happy with this announcement, talking about a lot of things that he would ditch Apple altogether, and that is Elon Musk. He's been firing off a series of tweets here saying if Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. That is an unacceptable security violation, and visitors will have to check their Apple devices at the door where they will be stored in a Faraday cage. So obviously not happy with this partnership here, and could be a warranted thing, right? OpenAI recently doesn't have such a great thing going on, right? This company has had a little bit of a mishap, a little bit of a misstep in multiple type of ways, but for Elon Musk, again, to making headlines that he is going to ditch Apple altogether. So this would be interesting if he like would force employees to not use an iPhone. I think that's kind of insane. If he was saying you're not allowed to own an iPhone or you're not allowed to bring it in your workplace if you have an iPhone, would be kind of ridiculous. If it's a work phone, then completely understandable. If there's like Tesla information or SpaceX sensitive information on that phone and you don't want it on there, that is completely reasonable, right? To say this isn't allowed, this isn't allowed. But as for a personal device, that seems pretty weird for someone who is a champion of free speech and freedom to say no, no, no iPhones allowed. You are not allowed to bring an iPhone into this building. That is just like, come on. If it's your personal phone, it has nothing to do with the company. You don't have anything with the company on it. Why does it matter, right? But this is an example, and Elon Musk talked or replied to this too, saying this tweet obviously saying, remember when Scarlett Johansson told OpenAI not to use her voice, but they cloned it and used it anyway. Now imagine what they can do with your phone data, even if you don't allow them to use it. To which Elon Musk says exactly to, which this is something that could be warranted, right? To say, I don't like this OpenAI thing. They've proven that they don't really care about people saying, no, I don't want you to use my data to train stuff on. There's been plenty of people in the Dolly stuff with generating AI art that were saying, I don't want my stuff used, but they just use it anyways because they just don't care. That's pretty much how early technology things work. They kind of just do what they want until they get big enough, and when they're big enough, then everyone starts to look at it and say you can't do this or that. But by then the technology already kind of built out, so they should be good. I think that's the strategy they're taking. But obviously this is something to look at. Like someone said no, don't use it, and they use it anyways. I think OpenAI said it's somebody else's voice, but it just sounds like her. So and maybe this isn't even a thing, right? Maybe they didn't do it, but they actually did use someone's voice that's similar. I don't know, right? But even if it's similar, it's kind of still like you're like skirting these lines. So could be, again, for a business phone, a work phone, anything with work sensitive information on it. Sure, do what you want. But for people's personal phones, they're not allowed in the building with an iPhone. I think that's kind of insane. But it also goes on to make a pretty good point too, with him saying right here, saying that it's patently absurd that Apple isn't smart enough to make their own AI, yet is somehow capable of ensuring that OpenAI will protect your security and privacy. Apple has no clue what's actually going on once they hand your data over to OpenAI, and that they're selling you down the river. To which he actually got community noted on his own platform here with this thing saying Apple has its own AI model, which is explicitly distinct from ChatGPT. Apple's model will be used by default and is usually the only option, but in some contexts, users can elect to use ChatGPT. So obviously, Apple, I think, should be coming up with their own thing, and maybe they are, and this is just a stepping stone partnership where they're going to use it for now because they don't have their own thing ready. But this is what people are worried about, stuff like this, where the OpenAI stuff's coming in to basically upgrade all of their AI stuff from Siri to a bunch of things on the device. You scroll through this type of stuff, it talks about, why they're incorporating these systems and some of the things that they're going to be doing. AI powered text summarization for text and for Safari and Siri. You got Ajax will be able to generate basic responses entirely on device. And then this one, text analysis and summarization for Safari and messages, is the one where this one sticks out, right? Because if there is some sort of nefarious thing going on from OpenAI on the back end where this says that it's this all this stuff is done by the company's on-device LLM, so it should be on your phone, right? So if you get a new phone, a new iPhone, and this is what people do, like when you get a new iPhone, you have to reset up your Face ID and stuff because all that stuff's handled on device, so it doesn't get uploaded to a cloud, or Apple doesn't have that data. So hopefully it's actually this way, because this is the weird thing, right? If there's this OpenAI and they're looking at your text and then training a model based off your text and feeding that, that would be weird, right? I would definitely not like that and be against that. But if it's on device, then it shouldn't be something that OpenAI gets data to and is training on. It should be safe. Hopefully, right? This is the main thing, but obviously Elon Musk doesn't think that way, right? He gets community noted here, but he thinks that there's a problem here. There could be a problem here, and OpenAI has kind of shown that they're not the most trustworthy and upstanding company in the world, and you shouldn't just blindly trust them. Now, Apple, I would think, would be smart enough to put something in place for the phones and for their users because they're supposed to be a privacy-first company. So I would think that they would make sure that that's intact because that is their brand. And if they break that, then that would be a massive, massive problem for their entire customer base, their entire brand. I don't think that they would risk doing that. So hopefully this partnership is actually a good thing. Hopefully you're not selling your data to OpenAI, or they're not stealing or doing something nefarious where they can basically just train AIs off of stuff going on your phone, on your text messages, on your calls, on your voice. That would be weird. Hopefully it's all thought through and this whole thing is just Elon Musk overreacting, right? But I see what he's talking about. There's some sort of point there, right, where if he doesn't like this so much that banning iPhones from all of his companies is a little bit of an overstep, a little outrageous if he's going to say you're not allowed to personally own one, or if you do, you're not allowed to have your phone on you at work. I think that's insane. But whatever you want to do with work phones or phones meant for sensitive information from the company, do whatever you want. You don't have to do anything crazy. It's your company. If you're offering the phone, complete sense, right? But hopefully this is Elon Musk overreacting and not a data breach, just insane privacy, no privacy thing happening in iPhones now. That's gonna do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash the button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next